I'm a big Richard Hart fan, and I think there's been some fundamental things that he's said, many of them that could totally shift our reality. And one of them is really fix the money, fix the world, and that's what I've pretty much boiled my life down to at this point is DeFi. It's a responsibility factor in my mind.
The comment reads, I wish to offer my professional insights concerning the allegations and character assessments regarding the SEC case against Mr. Richard Hart and his associated cryptocurrency ventures, namely Hex, Pulsechain, and Pulsex. On the topic of character and intent of Richard Hart, Mr. Richard Hart is widely recognized in the cryptocurrency sphere for his profound contributions to blockchain technology, early advocacy of Bitcoin, and commendable efforts towards advancing and demystifying the landscape of decentralized digital assets. His dedication towards philanthropy, as evidenced by his robust support for medical research and charitable undertaking, epitomizes his sincere commitment to societal betterment. Legal proceeding, whilst part and parcel of the regulatory framework, should be approached with an unbiased evaluation of the entirety of an individual's contribution and character. On the topic of securities, Hex, Pulsechain, and Pulsex are not securities. The definition and criteria that constitute a security are delineated under the Securities Act of 1933 and further expounded in the subsequent landmark case, SEC v. W.J. Howey Company. An impartial assessment of Hex, Pulsechain, and Pulsex based on the criteria elucidated therein, firmly establishes that these entities are not securities. Their decentralized nature, the absence of a centralized entity promising returns, and the clear utility they provide within their ecosystem unequivocally deviate from the traditional hallmarks of securities. There are no admin keys in any of these crypto products.
And then what? Did you run out of tokens?
Topic of market stability and investor protection, the presence of legal uncertainty emanating from lawsuits and contentious regulatory decisions can severely destabilize the market, thereby adversely affecting not just individual projects, but the broader investor community. Such repercussions have already manifested in the form of significant market volatility, eroding investor confidence. It is paramount to approach such matters with prudence to ensure that innovation is not inadvertently stifled and that the wider community does not bear the brunt of such actions. On the topic of Hex, Pulsechain, and Pulsex's contribution to societal advancement beyond the scope of financial investments, it is imperative to discern the overarching societal benefits engendered by these cryptocurrencies. With the environmentally conscious proof of state consensus mechanism, they underscores the paradigm of sustainable cryptocurrency systems. Furthermore, its affordability and inclusivity catalyze the broader participation of individuals globally in the burgeoning digital economy. This project is emblematic of the transformative potential of blockchain technology when approached with ingenuity and a sense of social responsibility. In light of the aforementioned, I earnestly urge a meticulous, fair, and unbiased examination of the situation surrounding Mr. Richard Hart and his associated projects. Regulatory frameworks, while necessary for investor protection and market integrity, must be wielded judiciously to foster innovation and ensure justice. The submitter goes on to say, respectfully submitted, and I prefer to stay anonymous. Thank you. The comment ends there. Thanks for listening. Head over to Richard Hart's Twitter profile for links to make your voice heard. Please give this a like to vote you like and understand this movement.
Well said, very well said.
Since Hex has been listed wrong since ever it's been created, the price has not taken a huge hit because it wasn't listed right. So
All we can say is that the Chinese are controlling the rankings.
Yeah, well, just don't pay them a couple mil and don't get your shit ranked. We know where our ranking is, and it's better to almost be the low dog without even getting the attention and fucking winning on the end.
We could be winning much more, and be really, really at the top if they didn't freaking do what they're doing. But maybe it's because of that we need to go through this. Everybody needs to go through this that is in this project so that we can harden up, let's say, our skin.
It's called fundamental human rights and freedom.
Tell me about it.
No, but I'm not saying. We're talking about different arguments towards the SEC.
What I see is that's like a high school. When you join high school, on the first year you get into school, for the first year you're being like pranked and stuff like that. So like it's like a welcoming blessing. basically going through this public humiliation. Welcome to the club.
That's the whole point, is not to join their club, because we are DeFi. We make our own decisions. We hit the button. It's my work. I decide to do it. I make the work. I make it go. No expectation from anybody else. That's as simple as it gets. It is what it is, bro.
I mean, my initial goal for Pulse was like, man, I need to get like 100 mil, I think 100 million goes to a penny, and I'm like, all right, 100 mil goes to a penny, you got your million bones, good chunk of change. But now it's like, it's a little risky, right? Like, what if Pulse does a 20 or 50x in the first bull, and maybe it's the next bull that actually puts us into the 1000x, So you want to chance it? You got a chance right now to buy it to $40 per Pulse. You can pick up a bunch. So I'm keep raising that envelope where it's like, I'm actually hoping we have a whole year more of DCA, because my initial plan was like buy Pulse until the end of 2024 and tax if it's cheap, right? And Pulse tax it. So basically DCA into the cheaper ones from launch until the end of 2024, and then we get probably like a good market 2025.
I'm mega bullish, but I'm in that bandwagon that this is going to drag out for a while, and I think a lot of opportunities are going to be presented. Like you said, I think we have to be prepared to update our view based on the newest data that we have. Like, considering this dip, specifically PLS, taking into account the dip, I would not be happy with 100 million Pulse at all. Looking for a retirement package. I mean, we saw
that might be 2 bull runs, right? So are you willing to wait, like 6 years with that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like Hex ran up so hard, we were gaining users at a pretty accelerated rate towards the top, but it's mathematically, it doesn't crunch out to have that many people retiring wealthy, taking monthly paychecks out. Like, it's just not sustainable. So like for your 100 million Pulse, it's like, what are we going to do with that? What are the exit points? Those would have to be pretty good exit points for 100 million Pulse. Like, already 1000x from here down at the bottom, or not, maybe not the bottom, but down low, 50% off. Those exit points would have to be in the 1,000, 2, 3, 4,000x minimum to actually retire off that one investment alone.
Yeah, these are our coins. We create the price. The SEC didn't dump the price, and we value the things. We need to value them higher, or else they're not going to go higher, right?
But where we stand is like, where we at on sac rate then right now? Pulse.
Just below.
Just below it?
42. I mean, we're at the whale sack pretty much.
Price is like basically right at sac price for some of the bigger wallets.
Pretty decent.
20% of wallets.
I mean,
the big boy is really not even down on his bag yet.
Big boys are not dumping on the heads here, I would say.
If you see us go down from here, then you could say, yeah. So we'll see. Regardless, like, are you intimidated by the government? You know what I mean? Like I read earlier, $690 billion in taxes are owed based on the IRS's audits and things like that, and the people aren't paying the tax. And previous year was $600 billion. So it's like, okay, guys, I'm not saying doing anything illegal. Cryptocurrency, what we're involved in, is not illegal, but a lot of society is willing to do so many illegal things. So let's just say they literally came out, wrote in a law, Hex is illegal. So does that mean you should sell your Hex?
No.
Like, there's something called, they're supposed to give you a fair notice beforehand.
Yes.
If they don't do, then it's not binding on you. So I don't know. People need to wake up to the reality that, hey, marijuana is illegal. Guess what? People are doing it. People make laws. So now we got laws versus laws, right? Same thing with weapons. Same thing with almost everything in our society. It's just a back and forth circle, right, of debates. And it can change at any moment. It can go back. It can go forward. What we need to realize is the powers that be, they don't have authority to decide whether something's good or bad, or whether we use something or not. That's exactly against what we're a part of, right? Like,
that's what
you ban me from talking? No. You can try, right? Like, they certainly try, but we have to be willing to talk or to transact or to meet with each other, even if they say you're not supposed to do it. Well, okay, you're just a human being trying to infringe on my rights. Okay, if I don't stand up for my right, then yeah, I did lose my rights, and that's my fault.
Yes, sir. 100%. If you don't stand up for what they're trying to take. Well, then that's what I mean. A lot of people are kind of flaky like that. They're like, well, if I'm not doing it, I don't really care, right? Listen to your phone or what kind of privacy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Like, for example, the police doesn't have the search warrant, but guess what? 80% of the time they're going to search your vehicle without a search warrant because people are kind of flaky, right? So that's how the government works a lot of times. Most of what they do is illegal, but they do it through a third party, right? They can't do it, but they make Facebook do it or they have Google do it for them. Criminal, but hey, so you have to realize like who you're dealing with. If this organization that's violating the laws that they have on their books in order to make the flaky people flip so then they don't have to actually follow the laws because the flaky people succumb to pressure, that's what you're up against. Okay,
Trouble.
realize it, wake up to it.
Thanks for joining me for another reading of comments sent to the IRS. This comment's ID number is 65. It was written by Luca Fracassa, posted on the website September 28th. The comment reads as follows. Ethereum is a decentralized blockchain which received an initial coin offer many years ago. Richard Hart, on the other hand, conducted a sacrifice for freedom of speech with no expectations of profits. It was only years later that Pulsechain and Pulsex happened. Pulsechain is an identical copy of Ethereum, and Pulsex is an identical copy of Uniswap. Richard Hart used to educate the masses on how to practice self-custody, avoid phishing attacks, etc. Hex is a copy of Bitcoin with proof of stake instead of proof of work. Hex helps the environment by basing mining in time instead of electricity. We have the right of privacy. Forcing decentralized finance to collect unnecessary PII will potentially destroy decentralized finance. In order to cash out of crypto, one must go through an off-ramp that has all one's information. Why would we have to do this twice and expose ourselves to identity theft? The blockchain exposes one's identity. Please listen to our concerns and encourage crypto development and adoption by passing fair laws and avoiding unnecessary ones. The comment ends there. Thanks for listening. Head over to Richard Hart's Twitter profile and tweets for links to post your comment and join the pool of crypto people voicing their mind. These government agencies will be forced to read and document your wording. Take care and Godspeed.
3:30, posted by James English on October 12th.
Reporting requirements should not apply to any entity solely for running cryptocurrency infrastructure software. This is any software that is required for the cryptocurrency, however it is designed to function. Forcing requisite infrastructure software to report will undermine a number of important projects, as it cannot be expected that infrastructure systems know the identities of the holders of the cryptocurrency. Requiring this knowledge is not doable. And trying to force this infeasible task will 1. Push American innovators and innovation overseas, 2. Force American innovators underground, 3. Stifle American innovation, 4. Not be fair to American innovators. It will also unfairly force some to be winners and some to be losers among cryptocurrency projects.
The end.
It's an impossible task to like go to every person that's a validator, I guess, and like try to pull information out of that they may have stored, but you can't even break it down thin enough to find the end result to like put a person on a thing. Full waste of time.
Yeah, that's why we're all around the world. So even if one government did that at one moment, other ones just keep popping up and you can't stop it.
Self-perpetuating global DeFi system.
I mean, look at Nigeria or China. I mean, they're really, really big on crypto and their government's banned it, made it illegal. They tried all these different things so many years, but they didn't care. People just keep using it. What's the government going to do? Put every single person in jail?
And just the amount of economic energy that a country would lose. So if there's an entity working for government, they're supposed to protect the people. Okay, good job. But if, they work for the government, well, then just as keeping the country running, you'd like to bring in the money to the country that you're in rather than let it go overseas. If they're going to make it so hard for people to do such a thing, they're going to lose all that economic energy into somewhere else that it's easier to do.
It's like the exact opposite of the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a trickle up effect where it starts with us because we're the priority as the taxpayers. The government wouldn't exist without people, and the laws should form around our needs and desires and go up to them and govern their actions. But now, like lately, it's been the exact opposite. The laws start with them, and the overseers, their needs and desires get met by enforcing laws on us to support them, when in reality, they're not the priority at all. They're a bystander of us and what we need from our governance. Corruption is the word of the day.
Well, it starts initially with the fact that they don't even have authority to do something, right? Like, okay, it's the Security and Exchange Commission. They don't have any authority over X. Pulsex, none of it. So whatever they're saying isn't regulation or law. It's bullying, right? Like basically it's you're attacking something you have no law that tells you that you have the right to attack. Oh my goodness, that's just overreaching of your authorities, right? So yeah, even in that lawsuit with Richard Hart, he could simply say you don't have any authority to regulate Hex, and they need to prove it. Prove to me that Hex is a security. If it's not, then I don't have to answer your complaint.
Which that's what they're trying to do right now. That's basically what we're commenting on in the first place, is them trying to prove that they have the authority, but they don't have the authority.
It's like if one county sends you a tax bill for their county, but you don't live in that county, right? And you're like, wait a second, why are you sending me this bill? My house is in this county. Well, we're a county government. We can send you a tax bill for your taxes you got to pay. Really? No, I don't even live in that county. You don't have any authority over me. I do pay for this county, but not for that one.
So that should be the end of it. But here we are, months, almost a year later, for the second time around.
That's because Gary Gensler's about as senile as Joe Biden, I think.
This, I'm a little bit worried. This is why. As soon as you know that you have a fully corrupted system from top to bottom, it needs to be cleansed. Yeah, I mean, it's a wild west. It's a gray area that they can make the decision on however they want. Even if they could go back in their decision 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, or a month or a half a year later, the damage will be caused, and that's the only thing that I'm worried about at this moment. And that I'm very sure that Richard Hart has an extremely good community helping him out, and a legal team that is helping him out. And remember, it's not him, it's not the projects that are being attacked, it's him himself. So the projects will continue on, even if he gets 100-year sentence and he's jailed forever in Alcatraz and hanged in the end. The projects will continue forward no matter what. So that's the mentality that we need to bring up to everybody, so that they can be prepared. It doesn't matter what the negative decision could come. Be prepared for the worst and hope for the best, right? So we need to have the community getting ready for that hit, if it comes a hit. If it's not a hit, that slap is not coming and everything is normal, then it's only way that can go is up. But the corrupted decisions can be made.
When you're talking about corruption, I mean, Gary Gensler, this guy ran the Hillary Clinton campaign, so there can almost be no one more corrupt than him.
Oh, my daughter now got into Bitcoin, made some gains, and thinks she's an expert, and then bashes about Bitcoin, throws the Bitcoin down, and then suddenly, oh yeah, we're buying Bitcoin. Double-faced organizations. They have their hands in both sides. Doesn't matter what the result, they're always going to gain. They're always going to earn.